Members are disturbed that the high operating costs attract more devastating effect on businesses that are largely dependent on credit, such as small and medium-scale enterprises. They say this has had an adverse effect through rising costs.
Lending rates of these commercial banks hovers between 17% to 28%, which is majorly because of the CBN's monetary policy rates, which is as of today 11%. If you compare this monetary rates with what we have in other countries of the world, as exhaustively explained by the mover of the motion, you see the huge difference. Mr. Speaker, how do we grow our economy?
In the last administration, Mr. Speaker, loans were given out to people supplying agricultural inputs and many others in the sector at a single digit. But this was designed in such a way that the Ministry of Agriculture, the Ministry of Finance, and the CBN came up with a package to all those that are interested in investing in the sector.
Some argue that in attempting to deregulate, there should be a way to help the banks recover loans and other operating costs, while others are not convinced that the banks are straightforward.
While we are trying to get the banks to reduce interest rates, we must also look for ways to help them in loan recoveries. In our intervention or interface with some of the banks, the issue of specialized courts have always come up. How do we help the banking system to recover bad loans?
Even in the implementation of interest rate, Dr. Ayonide, thank you for bringing up this. There has to be more transparency, such that whoever is taking the loan, whether for SME, even big business cannot even take rate at 25%. They will collapse. They should introduce much more transparency into the process of taking loans.
For House Leader Femi Gbajabiamila, it is worrisome that businessmen go abroad to borrow money at low interest rates, causing a reversal in capital flights.
Members of the public ask us, because we must understand something. For everything that goes wrong with this country, whether it is in our province or not, members of the public look at us. And several times they have come and said, what are you guys doing about the interest rate? It will be very wrong, in the full glare of the public now, who are crunching from this interest rate, for us to sit down here as a parliament and say there's nothing we can do. I'm Zakimbo, let's just look. Whatever happens, happens. Nigeria is a different species of country. No, we cannot do that.
Speaker Dogara hailed the motion as timely.
This is the motion that should help us going forward. And we all know that any economy that doesn't innovate cannot compete, because we live in a world that is becoming increasingly interconnected. And so if we cannot innovate, we will continue to be consumers of items or products being produced in other jurisdictions. And for us to compete, therefore, we must make funds available for entrepreneurs, for those engaged in small businesses.
The motion has been referred to the Committee on Banking and Currency for further legislative action. Jamil Afegwa, Core TV News, Abuja.